It was a quiet morning in the small town of Meadowville. The sky was clear. Birds were singing. Children were getting ready for school. Everything felt normal until the sky changed. Without warning, clouds moved in fast, even though the weather was perfect just moments ago. Then, something strange appeared high above, glowing bright red. People looked up in confusion. Across the entire sky, words began to form. They were not written by planes. They were not from smoke or lights. They just appeared clear, sharp and terrifying. You were warned. Earth was silent. A woman screamed. A man dropped his coffee. Everyone stopped. All over the world, people saw the same thing. In America, in Africa, in Pakistan, in Japan, everyone saw the red words. It didn't matter if it was night or day. The message burned above their heads like fire in the sky. Is this a joke? One man said, staring up. No, said a scientist watching from her lab. This is not human technology. News channels broke the story. Every TV screen showed the red sky. People panicked. Some cried, some prayed. Others tried to take photos, but their phones glitched. The message couldn't be recorded. At the United Nations, leaders held an emergency meeting. No one had answers. A general in a black uniform whispered, "It has started. The council is watching again." Only a few people understood what he meant. In a small village in India, a 12-year-old girl named Anaya was lying on the rooftop with her little telescope. She had always loved the stars. But this was different. She saw the red words too, but unlike others, she wasn't scared. She was curious. Why does it say we were warned? She asked her grandmother. Her grandmother shook her head. I don't know, Beta, but maybe someone in the sky is angry. Anaya kept staring. She noticed something strange. The message blinked every few seconds, like it was trying to say more. She began to write down the pattern. Long blink, short blink. Long again. That's not just a message, she whispered. It's a code. In Washington, inside a locked room deep under the ground, a man opened a dusty file. The file was marked Top Secret Project Voice. Inside were old papers, yellow with time. They showed that Earth once received a signal from deep space nearly 50 years ago. It wasn't noise. It was a message. A message inviting Earth to something called the Galactic Council. But the leaders at that time didn't believe it. They ignored the signal, buried it, called it a hoax. Now the sky was reminding them. A young advisor looked at the file in shock. You mean we were invited to join alien planets? Yes, the old officer said, rubbing his temples. And we chose silence. Why? The old man didn't answer. His eyes were full of regret. Back in Meadowville, something else happened. At 3:03 a.m., a new message appeared in the sky. This one was longer. You were not ready, but now you must decide. The red light spread across the globe again. Satellites shut down. Radio stations went silent. Airplanes were grounded. All attention turned to the sky. A reporter on live TV said, "Whatever is sending these messages, it's watching us. It wants something." But no one knew what. Meanwhile, Anaya finished decoding the blinking light. She used her math book and a few old science magazines. The code translated to one simple line. The door was closed. Now it may open. She sent her findings to a scientist in Mumbai who used to teach her in a summer class. Within hours, her discovery reached the government. Then, it went global. News broke. 12-year-old girl may have cracked alien code. But Anaya wasn't proud. She felt uneasy. What door? She wondered. And what's behind it? In a desert in Nevada, a special rocket was secretly prepared. The mission was simple. Go to the edge of Earth's orbit, scan the signal source, and return. The crew of 5 included a pilot, a scientist, a linguist, and 2 trained soldiers. Launched at dawn. The world held its breath. For 2 hours, the crew sent updates. Then, silence. The feed cut off, and another message appeared. One was taken. 4 May. Return. Earth has questions to answer. Panic, anger, fear, taken? The Prime Minister of England said. Taken by what? A top astronomer replied softly, not what, who. Back on Earth, strange things began happening. Children in different countries started drawing the same shape: circles, triangles, and stars connected by glowing lines. They said they saw them in dreams. In the drawings, one planet was always left out. Earth. A pattern was forming. The Galactic Council had included many planets, but Earth had been rejected, or forgotten, or punished. Suddenly, Anaya had another idea. She pulled out her old globe and drew lines between countries where the sky messages first appeared. They formed a triangle. Inside that triangle, in the middle of the ocean, was an island that didn't exist on any map. She emailed the location to the space team's base. Within an hour, a drone was sent. It found something, a black tower rising from the water. No door, no windows, no light. Just one word, glowing in red on the side: return. The tower was not made by humans. All over the world, people began asking the same questions. Why were we left out? What does the council want? Can we fix this? Leaders held another meeting. This time, they listened to scientists, to children, to dreamers. Anaya was invited to speak. She stood in front of 1,000 cameras and said simply, maybe. They didn't want silence. Maybe they wanted a voice. Her words spread like fire. People began singing together, drawing, writing, sending signals of peace into space. Then, the sky turned white. Not red. White. A soft message appeared. This time in every language at once. We are listening. Now show you are. And just like that, Earth was given one more chance. Asterisk. After the sky's warning, the world changed. People no longer trusted silence. Every sound, every signal was listened to carefully. Scientists worked day and night. Governments opened hidden files. Fear and curiosity grew side by side. In a deep underground base in Colorado, 2 men stood inside a dark vault. The room was cold. The air smelled like old paper and secrets. The younger man, Agent Ross, wore a black suit and nervous eyes. The older one, Director Harper, looked tired. He had seen too much. This is it, Harper said, placing a metal box on the table. Project Voice, locked for 47 years. Ross looked confused. What's inside? Harper didn't answer. He unlocked the box with a key around his neck. Inside were dusty papers, audio tapes, and a silver disc. Read this, Harper said. Ross picked up the top paper. It was a transcript. From 1978, a message sent from deep space. To Earth, you are invited to speak. The Council welcomes your voice. Reply within 3 moon cycles. Ross stared at it. Is this real? Harper nodded. Very real. We received it in 78. We decoded it, confirmed it came from another star system. It was not human. And what did we do? Harper's voice turned heavy. We ignored it. Ross frowned. Why? Because fear, Harper whispered. The leaders at the time thought it was a trick. Or a trap. They didn't want to look weak, so they stayed silent. Ross looked at the old disc. Is this the reply we never sent? Harper shook his head. We never made one. At the same time in London, a woman named Dr. Elise Tran watched the sky through a powerful telescope. She was an astrophysicist, calm and brilliant. Her screen beeped. Another signal had arrived from space. She decoded the short pulse. You were chosen. You chose silence, she gasped. They know. They remember. Her assistant looked over. Should we tell the others? Yes, she said. Tell the world. The news spread fast. Earth had been invited long ago to something called the Galactic Council, a group of planets that shared knowledge and peace. They had reached out, but Earth said nothing. Now, after years of silence, they were watching again. In a quiet home in South Africa, an old man named Solomon sat watching the news. His eyes filled with tears. "They're back," he whispered. His grandson looked at him. "Who's back, Grandpa?" Solomon took a deep breath. "When I was a soldier, we found something. A signal in the desert. It spoke to our radios, not in words, but in music." "Music?" "Yes," Solomon said. "Beautiful, strange music. We gave it to the government. They took it, told us to forget, but I never forgot." He opened a drawer and pulled out an old cassette. "I kept one copy," he said. His grandson played the tape. The sound was soft like wind, water, and whispers. Then the music changed. A deep, slow voice said, "Speak, and you will be heard." The room felt colder. The air was electric. Meanwhile, in Japan, an engineer working on an old satellite noticed something strange. One satellite, deactivated in 1980, had powered on by itself. It was sending out the original signal again. Someone reactivated it, he said, but no one on Earth did it. The satellite was pointing toward a star system called Epsilon Eridani, only 10 light years away. That was the direction the first message came from. In a secret base near Moscow, scientists studied the signal's trail. It had a pattern like a countdown. But counting to what? Dr. Natalia, head of the project, looked serious. "It's not just a message," she said. "It's a test." Her team looked confused. "They invited us to speak." "We didn't. Now. They're asking again, but this time there's a time limit." "How long do we have?" Someone asked. She paused. 3 days. Back in India, young Anaya was dreaming again. She saw a giant hall with stars for a ceiling and glowing symbols on the walls. Creatures with bright eyes stood in a circle. In the middle was an empty seat with Earth's symbol above it. When she woke up, she drew it. Her father looked at the paper. "What is this?" "A memory," she said softly, "but not mine." At the United Nations, world leaders gathered. The room was full of worry. "We must answer," the president of France said. "But how?" asked the prime minister of Brazil. "What do they want?" An old general from Canada stood up. "Maybe it's not about what they want. Maybe it's about what we are willing to say." A scientist came forward. "There is one way. The original reply signal was never sent, but we still have the equipment to send it now. We can respond. It's not too late." "But who will speak for Earth?" someone asked. Silence filled the room. Then, a voice from the back said, "Let her speak." Everyone turned. It was the director of NASA. He pointed to a screen showing Anaya's drawing. "Let the girl speak. The sky listens to her." Anaya stood on a stage, nervous but brave. A camera was in front of her. Microphones surrounded her. The world was watching. "What should I say?" she asked. Her grandmother touched her shoulder. "Say the truth." Anaya took a deep breath. Then she spoke. "We are sorry. We were afraid. We didn't know who you were, but now we do. We want to learn. We want peace. Please give us one more chance." Her voice was sent through satellites, through deep space, toward Epsilon Eridani. For 1 hour, there was silence. Then, the sky lit up. A new message appeared above the Earth. "You have spoken. The council will decide." Then the words faded. Stars twinkled as if waiting. And the world waited too. Later that night, a child in Peru saw something strange through his telescope. A small light, moving fast. It looked like a ship. It was coming from the direction of Epsilon Eridani. He ran to tell his parents. High above Earth, something was approaching. And this time, Earth was ready to listen. The sky was no longer silent. People around the world stared up each night, waiting for new words to appear. Sometimes the messages came in red light, sometimes in blue. But every message made people ask the same question. What do they want? Governments, sent replies. Scientists built machines to understand the signals. Satellites were pointed at distant stars, but one child. She saw something everyone else missed. Her name was Anaya. She lived in a small village with her grandmother, who often said, "You were born looking up." Every night, Anaya lay on the rooftop, watching the sky through her old telescope. The stars were her friends. The blinking messages in the sky were like puzzles, and Anaya loved puzzles. One evening, as the wind blew softly and the village lights faded, a new message appeared. This time, it blinked in short pulses. Long. Anaya's heart raced. "That's not just a message," she whispered. "That's a code." She grabbed a notebook and began writing down every blink. For hours she didn't sleep. She counted the lights, the spaces, the patterns. Her eyes were tired, but her mind was sharp. By morning, she had a full page of notes. When she read the message out loud, her voice trembled. "You are the voice. Follow the path." She didn't know what it meant, but something inside her told her it was meant for her. Meanwhile, in the capital city, scientists were trying to decode the same message. They had computers, machines, and experts from all over the world. But none of their systems worked. "It's too random," one expert said. "The blinks don't follow any language we know." But someone had already solved it with just a pencil and paper. At school, Anaya didn't tell anyone what she had discovered. But she couldn't stop thinking about the message. That night, a second code appeared in the sky. It blinked faster. More urgent. She decoded it again. Her eyes grew wide. Time bends for those who see. She felt a shiver down her back. Her grandmother noticed her pale face. "What's wrong, Beta?" Anaya showed her the notebook. "I think the sky is talking to me." Her grandmother held her hand. "Then listen carefully. Not everyone is chosen." The next day, a man in a black suit came to the village. He walked with purpose and carried a strange device that beeped when pointed toward Anaya's house. His name was Mr. Grant. He worked for the International Sky Council, an emergency group formed to study the alien messages. He knocked on the door. "I'm looking for the girl who sent this," he said, holding up a printed version of Anaya's first decoded message. The voice, "Follow the path." Anaya stepped forward. "I wrote that. Double quotes. Mr. Grant stared at her. "You?" "Yes," she said. He looked shocked. "How did you decode it?" Anaya shrugged. "I just understood it." Within hours, Anaya was taken to a large research center. Scientists, reporters, and leaders watched her from behind glass windows. She was given screens full of blinking lights. Every time she wrote down the correct message, they tested her for weeks. She never made a mistake, but she didn't feel proud. She felt watched. One night, alone in her room, she stared at the stars through the window. "Why me?" she asked softly. That's when the lights blinked again, this time only visible from her window. "Because you see without fear." Anaya sat back in her chair. Her hands were shaking. She knew now. The sky wasn't just talking. It was choosing. A group of scientists entered her room the next morning. "Anaya," one of them said, "we think the messages are not just random. They're leading somewhere." "Where?" she asked. "To a place, a real place," the scientist replied. "A path in space." He showed her a star map. When the blinking messages were connected, they formed a shape, a line through space, pointing to a hidden area beyond the moon. "The council wants someone to follow it," Mr. Grant said. "Someone they trust." Anaya looked up. "And you think it's me?" He nodded. Soon, Anaya was trained to enter a space capsule. She wasn't going alone. She would be with a small team of experts. But she would lead the way. Before launch, her grandmother came to say goodbye. "You're not just my little girl now," she whispered, hugging her. "You belong to the stars." "I'm scared," Anaya admitted. "Good," her grandmother sighed. "That means your heart is awake." The launch was quiet, but the world watched. People from every country saw the young girl rise into the sky. It felt like hope was traveling with her. For days, the team followed the path Anaya decoded. Then, they saw it, a giant black ring floating in space. Silent. Still. Waiting. It's not on any map. The pilot said, "It's the gate," Anaya whispered. "The path." As they moved closer, the ship stopped moving. Lights blinked on the black ring. Anaya read the message aloud. "Only the voice may enter." The team looked at her. "You have to go in alone," the commander said. Anaya took a deep breath and stepped into the small explorer pod. The ring opened. She floated through it. And everything changed. Inside the ring, space bent like water. Stars swirled. Time slowed. Her pod was still, but her mind was moving fast. A soft light filled the pod. Then a voice, not from speakers, but inside her thoughts, said, "You have listened. You have spoken. Now you must decide." "Decide what?" she asked. "The path forward for Earth." "I'm just a child," she said. "And yet, you saw what others could not." Images filled her mind. Earth burning. Earth healing. War. Peace. Fear. Hope. She cried. Then she spoke softly. "We are not perfect, but we want to be better. Please, help us." The light faded. The pod returned. Her ship was gone, but a new one had arrived. It was large, silver, and glowing. The message above it read, "Earth's voice has spoken. The Council will now listen," and for the first time in history, Earth was not silent. The world had changed since the child spoke for Earth. People felt something big was coming, but no one knew what. The sky had gone quiet again, and that silence was louder than before. Some believed the Council would welcome Earth. Others feared something worse. But deep underground, far from public eyes, a different kind of preparation was already in motion. Inside a secret facility in the Nevada desert, a launch was being planned. Not a normal launch. Not by NASA or any known space agency. This mission had no public name, no press release, no countdown on TV. It was simply called Project Echo. 5 people had been chosen for the mission. No one knew their full names. Only their roles mattered. There was Captain Reyes, the pilot. Calm, focused, trained for danger. Dr. Lena Vos, the astrophysicist. She studied wormholes and deep space objects. Commander Elijah Boone, former military security leader for the mission. Mira Patel, a young language expert. She had spent years decoding alien signals. And finally Cole, the silent one. His past was hidden. But they said he had once made contact with something. Not from Earth. They were not told where they were going. Only that something had appeared. Near Earth's orbit, a strange object hidden in a pocket of folded space. Something that wasn't there before. The message was clear. Reach it. Study it. Return. But most importantly, do not tell the world. 3 days before the launch, Captain Reyes stood beside the silver spacecraft, hidden inside a canyon. "This thing looks like it was built with alien parts," he said, running his hand along the hull. "It was," Dr. Voss replied. "Some of the materials were taken from the crash in Siberia. We've been building this for years, just in case." "In case of what?" Reyes asked. She looked up. "In case the Council answered." On launch day, the team gathered in silence. Above them, stars blinked like tiny eyes. The launch happened at midnight. No sound, no fire trail, no radar detection. The ship rose straight through a cloaking field, invisible to all. Inside the ship, the air felt strange, almost too still. "Status check," Commander Boone said. "All systems green," Reyes replied. "No interference," Mira said. "But the alien signal stopped the moment we left Earth." "That can't be a coincidence," Voss whispered. Hours later, they reached the object. It was nothing like a satellite. It looked like a massive stone eye floating in space, carved from dark metal and glowing faint blue. No engines. No windows. It pulsed with silent energy. Cole finally spoke for the first time. "They're watching." Boone looked at him. "Who?" Cole stared out the window. "Whatever built that, it sees us now." Suddenly, the lights inside the ship flickered. Alarms stayed silent. But something was wrong. Mira ran diagnostics. "Everything looks normal." "But I feel," before she could finish, the ship shook once. Then, silence again. "Cole?" Boone called. "Where's Cole?" Everyone turned. The chair was empty. He was gone. No doors opened. No alarms went off. One moment he was there. The next, nothing. "Is this a joke?" Reyes shouted, checking every panel. "Scan the ship," Voss said. He couldn't just vanish. Mira was pale. No life sign, no heat trace. "It's like he was erased." Boone clenched his fists. "We're being tested." The stone eye pulsed again. This time, a message appeared on the ship's main screen. No one typed it. No system logged its entry. It simply appeared. 1 was taken. 4 may return. Do you wish to continue? Reyes whispered. "They gave us a choice. Do we leave now?" Voss asked. "No," Mira said quietly. "If we leave, we might never know why this happened." Boone nodded. "We go in." A hatch on the alien object opened. Just one. Just wide enough for their ship. They entered slowly. Inside, there was no gravity. No sound. Only lights floating. Blinking. Changing color as they moved forward. Then a voice filled their minds. Not through speakers. Inside. Their heads. "You have entered the chamber of proof." Mira trembled. "What does that mean?" The voice continued. "One of you is already known. One of you is already marked. One of you is already chosen." The ship stopped. No one had touched the controls. Then they saw it. A mirror. Floating. In space. But it didn't show their faces. It showed Earth as it once was. Then as it is now. Then. A future no one wanted to see. Fires. Floods. Silence. The voice returned. "You speak of peace, but carry violence. You ask for welcome, but hide your true face. Earth must prove its soul." Dr. Voss whispered. "This isn't about exploration. It's judgment." Boone stepped forward. "What do they want from us?" The mirror shifted. Now. It showed Anaya, the girl who had spoken for Earth. She was standing in her village, staring at the stars. The voice said. She spoke with truth. "You must act with truth." Suddenly another message appeared on their ship. "Return. One will stay. One will lead. One will fall." Mira gasped. "They want one of us to stay behind?" Reyes clenched the flight stick. "And one will die." "No," Voss said. "One will be changed." As they returned to Earth, the ship was silent. When they re-entered the atmosphere, only 4 seats were filled. Cole never returned. But something had changed in them all. Each had seen a future. Each had made a choice. And none of them would ever speak of what really happened inside the alien. I don't. Not to the government. Not to the world. Only one person would be told. The girl who could still hear the sky speak. Rain fell softly on the rooftops of Anaya's village. The clouds were dark, but the sky above them held secrets far darker. Anaya sat quietly by the window, staring out. She hadn't slept well in days. Since the message from the alien object. Since Cole never came back. Something inside her had changed. She could still feel the silence in space. And sometimes at night, she heard voices, not scary ones, but calm, whispering voices. They never spoke in full words. Just feelings. Then one morning, she woke up and found something strange. A stone. It was small, black, smooth like glass, and it glowed faint blue in her hand. She had no idea how it got there. But the moment she touched it, a wave of images filled her mind. She saw stars. She saw a room with glowing walls and creatures with long limbs and bright eyes. And she saw Earth, but not the one she knew. A different Earth. At the same time, Far away in Switzerland, the leaders of the world were meeting. Again, the Project Echo team had returned. But they refused to speak about what happened inside the alien object. Commander Boone simply said, "We're being watched and judged." No one understood what he meant. Dr. Lena Voss only left a note before disappearing. Earth's past is not what we think. We were not always silent, we were erased. That line shook everyone. Erased? The president of Japan asked. By who? No one had the answer, but the sky did. That same night, red symbols appeared above the Atlantic Ocean. No words this. Time just spinning shapes. The shapes moved in patterns, and within minutes, scientists realized it was math, but not Earth's math. Anaya, watching from her rooftop, saw the shapes and whispered, "This is history." The black stone in her hand warmed. Then it showed her more. She closed her eyes, and the visions came like lightning. Earth. Long ago. Green, peaceful, filled with light. Not alone. There were ships in the sky. Friendly ones. Earth was a member of the Galactic Council, one of the oldest members. Long before humans. The planet had spoken once through creatures who came before. But something happened. Someone from Earth had betrayed the Council. A weapon was built. A war was started. And Earth paid the price. The Council erased Earth's memory. Shut down the connection. Hid the truth. They didn't destroy the planet. They made it forget. When Anaya opened her eyes, she was crying. Her grandmother held her. "What did you see, child?" Anaya whispered, "We were part of them. And we broke something." In a secret lab beneath the Sahara Desert, old machines came back to life. No one had touched them in decades. Lights blinked. Screens glowed. Words appeared in an unknown language. One technician screamed and called the head scientist. The screen translated automatically. Memory lock opened. Earth's record now visible. Within hours, a video feed was recovered. It was not filmed by humans. It showed a round table floating in space. Creatures from different worlds sat in silence. Then Earth's representative stood. It wasn't a human. It was tall, covered in silver blue armor, eyes glowing like stars. And it spoke. "Earth agrees. The weapon will not be used. We stand with the Council." But then the scene changed. Flashes of fire, screams, betrayal. The same creature, now surrounded by smoke, shouted, "We were forced." They came from below. Not all of Earth agreed. Then, the screen went black. At the United Nations, the Council message arrived again. This time, loud and clear. "You were not forgotten. You were warned." The words appeared on every phone, every screen, every watch. In every country. Fear spread again. "Who were the ones who broke the peace?" a reporter asked. "Are they still here?" Anaya sat with her notebook, drawing symbols. The black stone showed her. She called her teacher, Dr. Rowe, who once taught her during a science camp. "These aren't just alien letters," she said. "They're names." "Names of what?" he asked. "Old leaders. Creatures who once ruled Earth, before us." Dr. Rowe blinked. "You mean another species?" She nodded. "We weren't the first." She sent him a photo of one symbol. He stared at it. "This matches the markings found inside the Siberian crash," he whispered. "The one they covered up in 1967. All over the world, old sites began to glow. In Peru, a cave lit up with strange lights. In Egypt, a forgotten tomb suddenly cracked open. And in Antarctica, something under the ice moved. The past was waking up. Earth's real history was no longer hidden. Then, another message appeared in the sky. "You have seen the truth. Now make the choice." But no one knew what choice they meant. Was it forgiveness? War? Return? Or something else? Anaya stood outside, holding the black stone. She looked up and said softly, "We need to remember. All of it." The stone pulsed. And for the first time, the sky answered only her. "Then come." A beam of light wrapped around her. She vanished into the sky, but this time, she left Earth with her eyes open and her mind full of memories the world had forgotten. It started at 3:33 a.m. sharp. People across the world were pulled from their sleep by a strange sound, a deep humming that vibrated through the walls and into their bones. It didn't come from phones, radios, or speakers. Came from the sky, above. Every city, glowing words appeared again, this time larger than ever before. The light wasn't red or blue. It was white, cold, and sharp. The message read, 3 days left, Earth must speak. Panic spread like fire. In cities, people ran outside and stared up, frozen in fear. In villages, old men whispered prayers. On TV, world leaders tried to calm their people, but no one had answers. At the United Nations, the emergency meeting room was filled within an hour. Everyone had the same question: what happens if we don't reply in time? No one knew. Some feared it meant destruction. Others believed Earth would be cut off from the universe forever. But a few believed something else entirely. A test had begun, and Earth was failing. Somewhere far above Earth, Anaya stood inside a glowing chamber. She was not on a ship. There were no walls, no floor, no ceiling. Just soft light and shapes that moved like waves in space. She was surrounded by beings tall, silent, peaceful, but their eyes held ancient knowledge. One of them stepped forward and spoke, not with a mouth, but through thought. She carries the memory stone. She may ask. Anaya's voice trembled. What happens in 3 days? Another being answered. Earth is at the door. The council must decide whether to open it or leave it closed forever. Anaya took a breath. What do we have to do? Speak. With truth. As one. Back on Earth, chaos grew. Messages appeared in the sky each day, each one clearer, louder, and more urgent. Day 1. 2 days left. One voice, one heart, one chance. People gathered in streets, hoping for a sign. In Tokyo, a child pointed to the stars and cried, "It's changing." And it was. The stars had started moving, forming a symbol, as circle inside a triangle. No one on Earth knew what it meant, but Anaya did. Inside the chamber, she saw it glowing on the floor beneath her feet. "It's a test of unity," she whispered. "We must become one." But how could billions of people speak as one? She didn't know. Until the stone pulsed again, and showed her something. A vision filled her mind, Earth glowing with music, colors, movement. People from every country singing one tune. Not words, but emotion. Not logic, but spirit. It wasn't about science. It was about connection. The beings around her nodded. Earth has spoken many words. Now we wait for its soul. Day 2, the message. Changed. 1 day left, one more step. In every country, people began to feel it. A pull, a calling. Children sang songs they didn't know. Animals became still. Wind patterns formed perfect spirals, and a second object appeared in orbit beside the stone eye. This one was black and long, like a blade. It didn't glow. It didn't move. It just watched. Is that a weapon? One general asked. We don't know, said the president of the World Space Council. But it feels like a warning. Inside secret bases, old files were reopened. Symbols from ancient times matched the star patterns now forming in the sky. One symbol stood out. Judgment. Then came the final day. The sky turned silver. The last message appeared, larger than any before. Today, Earth decides. No more countdowns. No more warnings. Only silence. Governments tried to create a final message. Speeches were written. Videos recorded. But none of them felt right. In the end, the world fell quiet. Until one voice broke through. Anaya. Her image appeared on every screen. Every phone. Every station. Not through human effort. The sky itself sent her message. She stood in the glowing chamber, holding the black stone in her hand, and she spoke. We remember now. We made mistakes, we forgot who we were, but we want to grow again. We are not perfect, but we are learning. Please, give us that chance." Her voice echoed, not just through air, but through space. Her heart was open. Her message was clear. She did not ask for power, she asked for peace. Then everything went still. All lights faded. The objects above Earth vanished. The stars returned to normal. People held their breath. No message appeared. Not for an hour. Not for 2. Then finally, just before sunrise, a soft golden line drew itself across the sky. New message formed. Earth's voice has spoken. The council will return. And below that, one final line. The door opens for those who do not knock. The world stood in silence. Tears fell. And for the first time in generations, hope returned to the stars. The stars had returned to their places and the sky was quiet again. But people on Earth knew it was not over. Something had changed. Something was watching. And it was waiting. Anaya sat alone on a hill outside the city, the black memory stone glowing softly in her hands. She stared at the stars, her heart heavy with fear and hope. "They heard us," she whispered. "But what did they decide?" Asked her younger brother, Zane, sitting beside her. "I don't know yet," she said. A wind moved gently across the grass, whispering through the trees. Then suddenly the stone pulsed once bright and warm. Anaya gasped. "It's starting again." This time she didn't hear words in the sky. She heard music. Not music like a song. It was something deeper, like the sound of stars breathing, like the heart of space. All over the world, people began to hear it too. The sound came from everywhere and nowhere. In New York, a musician dropped his guitar and cried. In Africa, a group of children began to hum the same tune without knowing why. In Russia, a soldier removed his helmet and stood still, tears in his eyes. The world was listening, and someone was calling. Deep underground, in a secret control room, scientists were trying to understand. "Is it a signal?" asked Dr. Layla, eyes wide. "It's not radio, it's not light. It's single quotes S. Not emotion," said the old scientist, Dr. Kareem. "Emotion?" Someone laughed, but Dr. Kareem nodded. "It's not meant for machines. It's meant for hearts." They turned to the screen. On it, the symbol of the Galactic Council appeared again, this time with a change. A new line formed beneath it. One single word. "Sing." Anaya stood up slowly. The message was clear. "They want us to reply," she said. "Not with science, not with power, but with our soul." She ran down the hill, the stone pulsing in her hand. "We have to send a message back. Not from governments, not from armies, from us. From everyone." "But how?" asked Zane, following her. "With music," she said, "with feeling." Within hours, word spread across every news station, every school, every home. One voice, one feeling, one world. A signal was being prepared, not in a lab, but in the hearts of people. In a studio in South Korea, singers stood side by side. In Brazil, drummers began to play. In a refugee camp, children sang into a microphone powered by a solar panel. Even prisoners in dark jails were given a chance to hum into a recorder. Every sound was captured. Every voice mattered. From whispers to cries, laughter to tears. It was all sent into the sky, not just as sound, but as light. The signal formed a wave, blue, gold, and green, rising from Earth like a soft flame. High above, the black blade returned. It hovered, silent, cold, as the signal rose. Everyone watched. The moment was still. Would the signal be accepted? Would Earth be silenced forever? Then, suddenly, the stars moved again. They formed a perfect circle, and in the center a voice answered. Not with words, but with a sound so deep and full of peace. The Earth itself trembled. Mountains shook gently. Oceans became still. The voice was not male or female. It was everything at once, old and young, joyful and sad, and it said, "We have heard. The voice of one is stronger than the silence of many." A glowing spiral opened in the sky. Slowly, like a flower blooming, a portal, but no ships came through. No beings appeared, just silence. Then a final message lit up the clouds. The test is passed. The door is open, but the path must be walked alone. Anaya felt the stone grow cold. She looked up, her eyes full of wonder. "They won't come?" "No," said Dr. Karim, watching the screen from the lab. "They want us to go." In the weeks that followed, something incredible began. All war stopped. Borders opened. People spoke across nations with new understanding that the Council didn't give Earth technology. They gave Earth something more powerful, a second chance. The portal remained open, high above the Earth. Waiting, not as a doorway to escape, but as a promise. When Earth was ready, truly ready, not just to speak, but to listen, it could step forward. Together, as one. And Anaya? She never stopped listening. The sky was quiet again, but the air felt heavy, as if the world was holding its breath. Months had passed since the portal opened, and though peace spread across Earth, questions still lingered in every mind. Anaya sat alone on a cliff overlooking the ocean. The black memory stone lay in her palm, cool and still. She watched the stars, wondering if the Council was truly finished with Earth, or if the final test was yet to come. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Dr. Karim. "Something's happening. You need to see this." Anaya grabbed her jacket and hurried to the research lab, where scientists crowded around glowing screens. On the largest display, a new signal appeared, a wave of light twisting and pulsing in rhythm. It was different from before, clearer, stronger. A voice filled the room, calm, deep, and almost human. "Earth has walked far. It has chosen to grow, not conquer. The Council offers its last gift, a message, one that will shape the future." Everyone stared, silent. The voice continued. "Remember this. Unity is strength. Fear is the path to ruin. Trust is the seed of peace. Your journey is only beginning." Suddenly, the black portal above Earth shimmered and sent down a beam of light. In that light appeared a small, glowing orb. The orb floated gently into Anaya's hands. She looked at it closely. Inside, she saw images Earth's past, present, and possible futures. Wars healed, forests regrown, cities united. The orb pulsed warmly. "It's a gift," said Dr. Karim softly. "A guide. A promise." Anaya felt tears sting her eyes. "But will we be ready?" she asked. The voice answered, though the room was still silent. "You already are. The final message is not from us, it is from you. Carry it well." As the orb's light faded, the stars twinkled brighter than ever before. Anaya stood outside again, holding the stone and the orb, looking up. The sky was no longer a mystery or a threat. It was a beginning. The world had listened. And now it was time to speak together as one.